Nice find. Houck sets the feet. Short on the J. What a grab there by Richard. And he spins in for two.
Clayton is out. Martin back in. And the Gators will inbound with Aberdeen. Richard cutting. And that will go through. Over defense.
We saw this the other night with Toppin. He struggled all night. Then in overtime, he was great.
Gliding in for two. Pretty play.
That's one they'd like to have back. Well, I'll tell you, both these teams are going to have to take care of the ball better. We've already got 9 turnovers in this game. We've only played 8 minutes.
Queen is on Houck.
Queen's already got that one foul.
Houck the screen. Richard the three.
Oh, it's really a soft pressure to slow you down. They're in it after every score, though. 2-2-1. Pretty soft. They go back and show you 2-3 zone. And then at some point in the possession, they match up and go man-to-man.
Alex Condon still out with an ankle. This is a three. Bullseye! And deliver your message. Here we go. Florida with full court pressure. And you can feel the momentum switching here. Florida needs points. Richard across the lane, leans in, and since 2015, 10 years ago, 3. Gillespie, no. Another rebound lassoed by Chinyelu. He's got 4. At the other end, the quick striking. Well-coached Bruins team. Gillespie lost the handle. Turnover, Martin got it. Clayton 2-on-1. Richard will dive and get it inside. Only his second point of the second half of play.
Well, and he got himself into foul trouble, which didn't help either.
I can tell you from my college experience, it's very hard to score when you're on the bench.
Yes. I had that experience also, Dan. I played for a coach that just didn't like me, my dad.
4.5 to go. Houck is picked up by Rice. It's a long three. Good, Richard!
He's smart. Lots of mistakes from Florida. McNeely crosses over, but missed it on the interior. Condon looks ahead. Clear it, Richard. Pretty good balance. Thought they had a run out, Florida. Richard's three. Bottom.
A nice dribble handoff.
We need to get back to doing that today.
And Bird, you leave ball alone. Nobody was on him. No sense of urgency.
Solo ball puts UConn in front 43-39. The assist to Caravan. Back in by Condon. Hand it. Richard gets inside for two.
And nice dribble. They run. He's got pages of plays.
He got some plays for PJ's days too.
A very thin dossier for PJ.
3 plays.
Martin knocked out of his hands. Richard lines it up. On target. String music. No field goals over 4 minutes of game action.
Nice
the knock away by Richard. And he darts out for the jam.
Running Golden is another at Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Saw him and big guys that are mobile.
You have to be
asset.
You have to be in today's game.
You also realize how good FAU was. Look at how all the players have gone elsewhere and have been very successful.
Yeah, great point.
And the coach as well.
Jumper goes for Richard. A straight.
Looking at right now. And he is making his way back to the bench. So obviously a little discomfort, but hopefully nothing serious. Richard. Yes. And how many by Phillips? And his jump hook a little bit short. Handlocked in the rebound. Richard the fake. And the three. The offense. So Chinyelu and Houck each have 2. But again, you see the depth of the Gators. Handlockton and Condon are still in the game. Not that they're immune from foul trouble, but they can withstand it pretty much better than just about anybody else.
Yes. I mean, their depth wears you down, and they know it.
Walter Clayton Jr. Richard in the corner. Good closeout by Gainey. Richard step back 3. How about that? Teams, but does any team in the country have a better backcourt than Richard, Martin, and Clayton? And the big guys are terrific too. Florida has really good depth, and they can beat you so many different ways.
One of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. You've got to lay a body on someone and fight.
Will Richard lays it in. And Condon will try a 3. And the offensive rebound, Richard spins, hangs, swings and hits. The rematch here in the semis of the SEC tournament. Handlocked it. Richard in some traffic on the baseline. Tough shot. I'm not sure he'll ever be the best player out of Slovenia. We all know who that is, but he's awfully good, and he's going to get better. Richard. Yes!
Challenges at the rim. It's so hard for Alabama to get a finish because of the size and length and want to of these Florida big guys.
Richard.
He's ready for the NCAA tournament.
The official, Terry Oglesby-Molly, came in, changed the call. It stays with Florida.
Ravi, that's a big hit to Missouri. That's the second leading scorer. And he also draws about 7 fouls per 40 minutes. Mark Mitchell, that's a big loss for Missouri. Time in the history of Florida basketball, the Gators have a first-team All-American. Joe Kim Noah, Al Horford, those guys didn't do it, and he has.
They will like to push the pace, as we just saw there with Walter Clayton Jr. And they get a 5-0 lead as you take a look at their starting five. Condon backed up by Micah Handlockton, who literally a year ago had that terrible ankle injury.
They all have it in the guard play for this team in white.
Caleb Grill comes into the game for the first time. That's the guy they said they got to keep their eyes on. Richard feeling it right now. Knocking down another. He's got 8. Bates will take one. Fans are all standing for each possession. That's how you're playing it down. Elijah Martin has got a dozen this half. And it's been the work on the offensive glass by Houck and Condon, and in particular in the paint, been the difference in this one. Baseline noise. Oh, that's really.
Heck of a year, right, Ravi, for Missouri to go for 0-18 last year, and now solidly in that NCAA tournament.
That didn't go as well as Richard.
And it seems that they enjoy playing with each other, which is the most important thing about your collegiate career. You got their flowers today with their family in front of everyone.
And right on. Within 2, lob, knows it, has it, blocked. What a play by Condon, and now Richard in the open floor gets the slam, but it all starts.
Got to step it up, box out, and have some pride in your offensive rebounding.
And a turnover by Alabama, and an easy 2 for Richard. Good contact as you're trying to go up. Sears splits the double, and the corner 3 not there. Racing down court is Richard. Great look ahead. Richard with the slam. 5 play. They've won 7 of 8, though. The lone loss during that stretch was at Georgia last week. Georgia might be in the tournament right now with the way it's played. Sears gets a deflection. Loose ball. And Richard comes away with it. Gets the...
Yeah, and the pace was slowed by that. See if Florida can get this pace going back to what the way they're used to playing. Coming off these down screens, these pin downs, getting shots, and running offense through their bigs. On and high-low, this is where they're dangerous.
Whoa! I'd say so. Will Richard with the sat on it. Wow. Great pass by Garcia.
So if you're going to sit on a high chair on the rim, that should come with a bib, right?
Tom, you're getting it. I don't know if everybody else is getting it, but you're getting it. The big fellas are eating down low.
And a blocking foul and an opportunity for 3.
And got to go all in with my guys. And I want to be a part of this run. I asked him, what, do you make small goals for yourself when you come back? He said, absolutely. I try to go out every opportunity and get a double-double. He's been flirting with it tonight already, 5 rebounds. So a couple of putbacks, and he'll be there at the end of this quarter.
3-second difference. Game clock and shot clock not needed. Solomon Washington there to pick it up.
Phelps gets it back. And the loose ball pinballs around and finally controlled by Florida.
I want to see Texas A&M help Wade Taylor get going. Meaning, I want to see the bigs get some good screens to get him open, some pin downs, some quick hitters, and some pick and roll.
You said
score.
21 of their 33 attempts have come from deep.
Well, when you're making the shot, Tom, don't you dare stop it. If the food is good, you think I'm going to sit back and not go to the buffet? I'm going to keep going. That's all you can eat. That's what they're doing at the three-point line.
Somebody told me that Adams Ribs is already closed for them.
Somebody, I know they lied. I know we got some poor down here. I need to call Udonis Haslem, Patrick Young, somebody, Mike Miller, somebody got to get me an Adams Ribs, not the Adams family.
Why don't you just call Adam?
He'd try and make it happen.
Gomez?
Out with 3 to shoot. Kicks it out. Richard drills it. His second. And A&M looking for some momentum. Taylor's finally in the scoring column. And the pick 6 for Anderson Garcia takes it inside double digits.
Finally being able to score off the turnovers. Stealing some buckets, if you will.
8-0 run for A&M. Cross court Richard. Oh, recovers for the left-handed layup.
Broken plays for your time, and Wade Taylor is a veteran now. He understands where his moments are. That's one of those shots that right there can get you back in the game and get that momentum going for you.
You feel like Aggies have played more straight-up man in the second half?
Yes. Getting a little help on these ball screens, but not switching, even on the screens that come together unless it's guard to guard.
Richard for 3.
I promise you, you can feel the energy. It
Radio.
is nut. Well,
I want him to watch TV.
Who's watching TV? I'm talking about, you gave me the Remember the Titans reference earlier. I just gave you the radio, Cooper Gooden Jr. You didn't even take it. See what I'm saying?
I did not. All my stuff's in a grocery cart.
3-ball good. Will and led by as many as 17. Had the lead at the half and generally comfortable, except when Taylor and Phelps had back-to-back jumpers. 8 to shoot. Richard found a gap. Splashed it home.
Silas Demery just going off. 14 first half points. There is a big-time 3 from Will.
Stretch that out.
That cross-court pass just isn't going to work.
Well, Walter Clayton Jr. Good job of baiting him into that pass. Just
get up and in. Richard back the other way in a hurry. He slams it home. Oh! Richard in and out. Hand locked and keeps it alive. Back to Richard. Try it again. Got it this time.
Coming out on Silas Demery, not allowing him to get that shot off. He's made 2 threes when they tried to go under. Weak side help for Florida has been really good. Now, Georgia has been able to get in transition on steals and offensive rebounds.
Will Richard with another shot clock in single digits. Clayton bobbled it on the way up, lost it, and a foul count. LeFew had it in his hands and just gave it right.
Great motor, and he's an explosive athlete with a soft touch around the rim and from the three-point line.
Dump down underneath. Will Richard. Don't want to let him get free.
No. In his previous 3, he's had a little bit of space. That time he was able to create just enough, not as much space against the bigger defender, Kinley. Same play.
And again, Richard converts.
Same result.
Georgia coming off that 82-70 loss to Auburn.
Here's the third zone possession.
Will Richard, my gosh, he is unstoppable. 23. They've cut it to single digits a couple of times here in the second half. That one is short, right into the hands of Houck. Off to Clayton. Mason Newell sticks his hand in there. Scrum for the basketball. Martin now. Richard. That guy's just a machine. A machine. tonight. Martin. Howe. Back to Richard. Shot clock at 4. Richard sees it, fires away, and the guy just doesn't miss. This is some kind of
leading scorer on the team, or second leading scorer at 15.2 a game.
You've got to stay in front of Fears, man. He can get to that rim.
There's one that drops long.
Should be the National Coach of the Year. I mean, this is historically the toughest league in all of college basketball. And whoever wins that regular season crown, that's my vote for the National Coach of the Year. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be Bruce Pearl.
They're all
now. Not let this thing get to 20 or more before the halftime.
Out back in the game with a couple of fouls. Richard again. Boy, it is just a big. Clayton Jr.'s 4 of 6 from 3 and firing again. No good. Wow. Rip and yet count the basket.
Wrong end of a 10-1 run to begin this half. Gators trying to seize control. Will Richard, the spin. High arcing shot with a bounce. Whether it's been Aberdeen or Thomas Howe or this young man, Chinyalu. Wow. He's fighting for it. He found it.
How about that effort? Stayed with it.
Aberdeen standing on the logo. Here's Richard, the step back from 16. Why not? Games on the road at Stegman's not going to be easy. How about that block? Hand locked and check it. It was Howe, and now it's Richard.
Just pulled. It'll be a 1-2 matchup, 4 o'clock on Saturday from Coleman Coliseum. You think that ticket's going to be tough?
That is unbelievable. 2 coaches with Bruce Pearl and NATO, some of the best in the business with their teams playing phenomenal.
Will Richard splash in a 3-point lead for the home team. Richard for 3. Got it.
Well, now like crowd noise based on what
Yeah, that could be it. He scored 90 at Auburn. Richard got it back from Clayton. Drills it.
Was his 399th career block. He just had his shot knocked away. Gators running. Richard 21-7 against Vandy Tuesday. Into the paint, Dylan Cardwell.
How is that not a foul? He's got his arms wrapped around him.
And the jump hook a little bit short, letting him play. Richard back to Howe. Richard wide open. Hits the 3, and the Gators have... They got to reset. Baker Mazzara, shot clock at 5. Got his man in the air, missed the shot. Richard racing down the court. He'll lay it in.
It's almost like...
Back to Condon. 6 on the clock. Richard, no. Tipped, and Houck's got it. Richard again. Hits.
Well, you cannot ask guards to...
We saw him in shoot-around today. They decided to hold him out tonight with a bear of a schedule still down the stretch for a Florida team that will be mixing it up with Aberdeen, making his first start in 65 career games. That'll help. Which makes them both. Vandy regains the lead. Nine for Edwards to lead all scores. And Will Richard rolling to the game. That's why he's missing the game tonight with that ankle. Just their 3rd loss of the season, and it came on the road against the best defense in the country. Richard a 3, ties it at 38.
Locating where the rim was and the soft touch around the basket.
Back inside of the big fella. Richard, hammer time! And
Jay Collins Jr. high off the window, won't go. Tanner fighting for it. Here comes Martin. Will Richard downtown. Florida had 3 made threes in the first half. They already have 3, and we're not even halfway through the second frame here in Gainesville. Almost snatched by Tanner. Oh, Richard! Pinch me moments walking into the Vanderbilt practice facility and seeing the locker room that he gets to call his own in Nashville. 9-point game after 2 made free throws by Edwards. 5.5 to go in Gainesville. Richard reverses it home. Shooter. Vanderbilt leaving some points on the table here late.
And Edwards has missed a couple of them when they needed it. It was a 55-52 ball game. Fouled for Vanderbilt to cut it to a 2-point game. Missed a free throw. Those are momentum swings that are massive in games of this magnitude.
Richard from downtown. Oh, yeah!
Home court in the jungle. Here's Gainey. Floater. Not there. Push ahead by Richard. Got deep and converts.
Bad pass right into the hands of Chinua.
That's not reading the middle linebacker at all.
Not at all. There was talk that Micah Hanlogan would play in this game as Richard buries the triple.
Mike George's made 5 threes.
And when they're not turning it over, they're playing good basketball. That's the problem. Aberdeen, part of that great depth at the guard spot. Kane poked it. Richard got it. And then he got it to go. Steal, 3-on-1 dogs. And a turnover on a 3-on-1. Now the Gators numbers the other way. Got to guard him. Richard. One of the foul does not get the whistle. And now Clayton on a steal. Clayton to Richard. Got it.
In the second half. Second straight game.
Yeah.
Well, that's just miscommunication.
Richard thought about a pass. Takes the 3. A lot of scouts in attendance for this game tonight. A lot of them watching Colin Murray Boyles. Projected first-round pick. Here's Richard, pulls the trigger on a 3. Let's try this one again. Clayton to Martin. Now Condon. Handoff Clayton, draws a double. Baseline drive, Richard. Dipsy-do layup, pretty play.
Mike, it seems like that's Florida. Other than the turnovers, that's been Florida's easiest points in this game.
Pringle turned around and missed it. Important final 2 minutes of the first half for Florida, wouldn't you say?
I think even more important for South Carolina. Can they continue to close and play conscious free?
A little bully ball down low. The former Alabama Crimson Tide power forward. Condon's been relatively quiet in this game. Hands off Richard. Richard from 16, book it. Clayton. Inbound for the baseline. Sets up an open 3 from Martin. Offensive rebound. And look who's come alive. Will Richard. How do you beat it?
Again, ball movement, body movement.
Well, that's not how you beat it.
No.
Dribbling right into a double team. And another easy layup.
Breaking. The ball's got to stay in the middle third. Oh, good, another steal.
Richard, another pick 6. Timeout care for a 3-ball. Clayton scoops it up. He's hounded by Wright. Clayton sets up an open shooter for 3. And it's drilled. Todd Golden's going to let him play.
Yeah, I'm going to let Clayton be the decision maker.
Hedge out on Clayton. Richard on the drive. Richard got it with 4.8.
Physical switch onto Johnson as well.
Kaluma, 15-footer. The Longhorns are not a big assist team. They can turn into a one-on-one squad pretty fast. The gamble for Johnson pays off for the Gators as Will Richard blew right the season through the League opener against Auburn. Fade away for Alexis.
That can't happen.
Put back for Richard.
Tom, that can't happen.
His first foray into conference play. He was at Link Academy in the Ozarks last year. And Rodney Terry was telling me earlier this season, we wanted him to treat Link like his first college year and treat this season like his first NBA year.
Wow!
What a hammer! Well, in terms of the raw number, but in terms of their limited possessions today, it's getting high. They've turned it over on 21% of their possessions. Richard left wide open behind the Houck screen.
Houck is every time Florida looks like they're going to make a run, Missouri has a response. Condon passed up the three. Drive and kick. Richard.
Yes.
Splash in the paint.
Mitchell blocked from behind by Richard. All the way. Lays it in.
One now. Yeah, Missouri will throw this out there from time to time. Clayton on a deep 3-0. There's what Houck gives you. Sets up Richard.
Yes.
Huge. Nothing but the of attrition here. Missouri now has 3 players with 4 fouls and 1 player ejected with a flagrant 2 foul. Richard rising fire. Rattles home a 3.
Lanier. 0 for 2 now from three-point land and a breakup. It's Richard one-on-one with Ziegler. Challenges him and lays it up and in.
That is Florida.
And Tennessee has 6 points. And Lanier is 0 for 5.
Good job by Florida to defend that floppy action and stay in front of the ball of Lanier.
High arcing 3. Florida's on fire. Is Richard.
Team with a lot of depth. And what I love about the women's game this year, when I look at it and study it, 9, 10, maybe 11 teams that could walk away with that title. The only other time Tennessee trailed this year was to Middle Tennessee right before Christmas. They trailed 40 to 34.
At the half. They're going to be trailing in the half of this one for sure. They have 15 points. They average 80 a game. Richard goes hard,
Beautiful.
reverse, pretty play.
When I mentioned his engagement,
no. I think that is beyond the scope of your powers, no offense. Martin.
What a steal.
Butler, outstanding on-ball defender, almost took it away from him. Richard flies in from the baseline and
If you're not right on him, he is going to pull the trigger on it. Jackson Robinson is really a good player.
The Cats already have 5 different players with at least 8 points in this game. Robinson is up to a dozen.
That three-point line is such a threat for Kentucky. You really have to fan out the three-point shooters, and that opens up drives and cuts to the basket.
Richard drives and lays it in. Boy, would Martin for 3. Offensive rebound, Richard, and he lays it back in. Clayton again. Another offensive rebound. Richard sticks it back in.
Tournament and ASUN championship. Sonka cruises in with 5. Condon another rebound. Richard strides in. Defender on his hip. And the Gators snap.
To be a threat on the offensive end.
Oh, here we go. Look out. Richard on the break.
Going to be able to lead your team.
Oh, big time denial. Sam Alexis sets up the break.
Poor spacing. Everybody ran within a 3-foot circle.
Everybody wanted to dunk. The correct pace to throw the defender off.
Ellison, a quick look. Martin already with 12. Clayton up the ladder towards Richard. Bobbles the catch and take an easier deuce.
So it's tricky when you ask me a question that I can't hear.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Here we go.
What an outlet.
Richard.
Hey! Ow.
Big time. Of the game gives it up for Ellison with 1.
Any team in the SEC really surprising you yet?
Well, here's Richard set for takeoff with a soft little finger roll.
I'd like to see him do more.
Sanka. To that point, Gators have won now 14 consecutive home games. Richard, takes it all the way. Just
finish.
Speaking of the officials, I wanted to ask you, did you have a relationship with officials? Did you learn to have a good relationship?
You know, some of the officials.
Oh, look out!
I'm so grateful to have that relationship with him. You want to talk about a guy that just loves what he does? I mean, the atmosphere in UNF for a home game. He's on the Jumbotron screaming.
3-time A-Sun Coach of the Year. Open look. Richard swishes it in.
It's Florida to have their will taking away some of these looks they thought they would get, because as of now, I'm not really even seeing where the three-point opportunities are coming for this UNF team. So Coach Driscoll's going to draw some stuff up to try to figure out what to do.
It's been suffocating defense by the Gators on the arc. 8 to shoot. Hauk trying to back down his man into a double team. Corner 3, that is unguardable. A steal, and they're on the move. Pocket pass underneath. Little out of control. Here come the Gators 2-on-1. The lob. And there's Richard to clean it up.
Absolutely hate they got back defensively.
Nice slip by Murphy, an easy one for him. Florida off to their second best start in program history at 11-0. Ranked number 7 in the latest AP poll. They swing it around the wheel. Downhill, Richard coasting in for a
sealing that opening there, and UNF with a quick response.
Miles cans the 3. Double comes on Chinyulu. Richard relocating, firing, and drilling another against the Florida length. Litteris, half hook, barely scrapes the rim. A run out. Watch out!
Fantastic.
Alexis had the jam on the other end. Hauk steps in front of a passing lane right down the middle. A steal. That is the 10th UNF turnover. Richard, quick rise, cash money.
Sadly, it was around the COVID time, so he didn't get a chance to really show off his talent until staff members saw him working out, and with that mismatch sometimes means you're not going to score off the first one.
Rebound Chinyulu. Ahead to Martin. Richard, sidestep 3, he got it.
Carolina's missed 6 consecutive shots. Powell on the drive, pretty scoop, but no. Florida's going to run when they have the chance. Clayton with the kick out for Richard, and yes, another 3.
So scoring has been a big part of the way he's helped North Carolina win, and he's not shooting it well right now. So he's doing other things, and he's cognizant of that. That's what winners do. They find another way.
Look at a terrific ball movement and
the weak side boards. Sometimes a dunk like that can be worth more than 2 points. Let's see if it helps North Carolina get going.
Well, you bet you Richard will launch another one. What a great-looking shot coming off the hand by Powell. Had his hands up. Davis in transition. Can't stick it. Clayton with a rebound. They want to push it to the other end. Richard with a dipsy-do for 2.
The sophomore.
Their first triple of the ball game. Down the lane, scooping it up in Gators from the baseline. Clayton looking for a cutter. Condon on the move with the cut and the slam. Got Richard there.
He's made a three in every game this season that he's played in. And that's a confident shooter right there. You missed the last one. You don't hesitate.
Look at 23 against Alabama. Confidence indeed. Richard to the baseline. He sinks it.
He is a tough
battle there. They go head to head. Martin's far away. No. Rebound tip controlled by the Gators. Right back over Richard. Will stick it in.
Clayton again at that elbow. Long rebound, kicks it back out to Richard, and he rips the net.
Shooter, once he gets that going, you have another element that Florida can add to this team.
Air ball there. Will Richard, by the way, was 2 of 9 from behind the arc over the last 2 games. Has another one here. Wow. Excuse me, Mason the rebound.
Arizona State, you're going to have to try to make sure to run some offense. You've had a couple possessions that's been empty.
Richard to the rack. Timeout, Arizona State.
Florida with an out.
Strong take to the inside by Bashir Jihad.
A spirited drive there by Jihad. Understands that the bump is coming. Had to be strong. Did an outstanding job of using the rim to protect him from the shot block.
Richard bumped. Condon. Richard. Entry pass to Condon. Boy, nice ball. Fake and throws it down with authority. My goodness.
Walter Clayton. Alexis with his 3rd offensive rebound, and finally Richard.
Here, he already highlighted the shooting woes. Washington lines one up. That just goes down and out. Ballard tips it to Richards, and so now it starts the break. Chinyelu, his most impressive game as a Gator. Back out to Richard. Who ultimately decides to go play for Kyle Smith at Washington State last year. Had a great year, but decided to
just can't figure it out. They're trying to figure out how to attack. They've got a plethora of weapons. This is the best way to attack in transition.
Richard started it with the knock away. Richard. Reed's got a couple of inches here on the sophomore Howe.
Good
pass. Hildred. Short. Condon secures it. Clayton always has his eyes up in transition. His man goes flying, so numbers, if they swing it, not fast enough. Richard wants 3. Yes.
There's no drop-off with him as well.
Well, that trio of guards you mentioned, they've got 13 of Florida's 21. Richard has been relentless on the defensive side. He spins to the rim. Got it! Tested turnaround, but it rolls off once again. Inside of 4 minutes now.
Alex Condon and Efton Reed battling in that paint area.
Will Richard trying to blow by Salas. High off the glass.
With numbers, 4 on 3. Richard left it short. Condon there. No. Tapped around. Pinball. Loose ball. And scooped up by Florida. Richard draws the foul. Count the basket. Again, you might finish 10th in the league and be a bubble team.
Right.
That's how strong the SEC is expected to be this year. Richard pulls the trigger on a 3. That's the...
I promise you, if he had more games, he'd have more than 39.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Here's Richard.
See that ball? That ball had less Altman on Chinyelu. Yeah, that's the second time he's had a tough bucket.
Richard starting to heat up. Look out. Will Richard. Charles trying to go post to post. Clapshaw.
What a pass.
Laser bounce. And a two-handed finish for Richard.
A gold quality shot.
Great find.
Goes opposite Martin in the corner. Here's Richard.
No, he's been taught how to play the game because it's a different basketball game overseas.
Yeah, no Denzel Aberdeen tonight, no Sam Alexis, but they got Will Richard, and he has another 3. Him shooting in football stadiums, that would really rattle some shooters with the amount of backdrop and space behind the hoop. That made Lee better.
When that net broke, you just knew it was not a factor.
There's a much-needed bucket for the Gators, and it's always good to see you, my friend. We'll see you.
Yeah, man.
We'll do a game together in late December when Stetson comes to town. Look forward to that.
Here's one thing that I also want to mention that I don't think fans necessarily have a great appreciation for.
Young up and under. He's looking for double figures in this half alone. Out passed off that three. Gets to Richard up and under.
And the Noles get right back. Boston Hope, known as a pass-first point guard, comes in with a reputation as a shooter that made his first three there on the year. And again, someone has to step up and help Watkins.
Great move and shift to the left.
They're so concerned and they don't want to switch a big on a guard, and they're being forced to do so.
Is that the shot the Seminoles wanted right there? Watkins early in the shot clock with the deep three ball, and you give the opposition an opportunity. Off the Aberdeen miss. Another opportunity. Great fight by the 6th.
Richard doesn't have numbers. Will take it all the way. Dances off. Martin saves it back to Richard. And one.
Defense to find you.
Richard off balance. Dozier couldn't rip it away from Alexis. Richard skies up. Up and under this time. Gets the roll on the line. And Martin and Richard. Grambling in his zone.
Yeah, it's a 2-3, but the wings are way high. A little Syracuse flavor.
Richard. Money.
It's a poor outlet pass.
Richard takes it right back. He's all alone. A slam. JU on the heels of just a 6 of 32 night from three against Trinity Baptist College. Won by only 13. Richard, a Swiss on the
in transition. A little bit better job.
Gators attack the pick and roll. Condon, a deflection. Richard, strong take, gets the roll. 3 full years in college. Payne swallowed up by a double. And the interception. Richard leaks out, rises up top with 2. Working specifically even more on his defense. And that court vision that Mark talked about. Big takeaway. Another long lead. Richard, the slam. Demanding role for him. You ask anybody. He's the leader on the floor. Big body right now matched up with Chinyelu.
That may go in.
Post to post. Finds Richard. Up and under.
Lob it up to Knox. Every chance they get to run, they do.
And it's a 9-0 run for the South Florida Bulls. Playing with incredible resolve, resilience.
Right? Big SEC school against a mid-major school. Crowd's kind of into it, not into it, much like any site. Little 1-3-1 trap defense. Got to get to Richard in a hurry. Shots outside. The floor is a dangerous squad.
Reed misfires. Richard, 35% from deep last year. Boy, he pushes that to 40%. That's really critical to Florida's success.
And if you're a good shooter, I think you shoot 40%.
How about that? The cut to the rim. Half of their respective leagues.
Solid defense by Houck.
And now here's a force. Wow. Houck smothered Knox that time. Florida on a 7-0 run and on the move. Richard. Yeah! Gators have only led for a couple minutes. That's it. Opening night.
Shot clock off. Let's see if the Bulls do anything and run at him to double team. They'll play it straight up.
Aberdeen initiating over to Clayton. 10 seconds to go. Alexis sets the screen. This is Clayton. Stops, kicks it back out. Richard, 3 to go. Richard from 18. The fall away. Banks it in. So Will Richard. The Last shot block. Clayton closed out and swatted it. South Florida is able to maintain it. Big man throws it away. Richard with his eyes up.
A lot more energy by the Gators on the defensive end.
Williams goes by him, knocked away. Martin comes up with it. Martin to Richard. Richard got it, and the foul.
His performance in the semifinal against A&M in the SEC tournament, 20 points.
Yeah, vaulted him to the title game. There's a takeaway. What a pass! What a lead feed to Richard!
There are times All-Americans make it look easy, and it's looking easy now.
Richard cleared for takeoff here. Will Richard. He's got a needed to do in the most trying of times to put their student athletes in the best position just to succeed here moving forward. That's one way to break the press. Will Richard throws